Shemai Baub and welcome to this lesson on shape. So let's have a look at your learning objectives for today. Today we're going to be learning more about shape, understanding and learning some shape vocabulary, viewing some interesting shape artwork by famous artists, and we're going to be practicing your own drawing and shape creating skills. So what is a shape? A shape is the form of an object or its external boundary, outline or external surface. And we've got some images there of different shapes that you might recognise, for example, a star, a cross and a heart. But we also have different names for shapes. This forms our shapes vocabulary. So we've got some names for shapes there that you might recognise, for example, a triangle, square, circle, heart, star. We also have a rectangle, which is not on that sheet. We've got a cross, and we have some other types of shapes as well. So let's have a look at some shapes in art. There are two major shapes in art, geometric and organic. Geometric shapes are mathematical, so they include squares, circles and triangles. And you can see this in the work on the right hand side. And then we have organic shapes, which are irregular or asymmetrical. And this is more like the work underneath the text. So you can see they're kind of free flowing and they're a little bit more squiggly. A very famous artist that uses shapes is Henri Matisse. So Henri Matisse was a French artist known for both his use of colour and his famous shape cutouts, which were collaged onto paper. And you can see all these different kinds of shapes he's made. He's used a range of mostly organic shapes, but as well as some geometric shapes. So for example, the green block in the background, the rectangle, that would be considered a geometric shape. But then we also have these organic shapes that look almost like leaves being made in his work. And this is another one of his works, which I really like. So you can see it looks like he's made a guitar in the middle with little flowers around it. And it looks like there's a person. What do you see in that work? Perhaps you see something completely different to me. Another famous artist that uses shapes is Auguste Herbin. So Auguste was a French painter of modern art. He is best known for cubist and abstract paintings consisting of colourful geometric figures. So we've got that word geometric again, and his work looks very different to Henri Matisse because he uses quite mathematical shapes. For example, he's got a lot of triangles, circles, rectangles and squares, but his work is also very colourful, and we're going to be working with colour today as well in your main task. So for your brief task or main task today, what we're going to be doing is creating a drawing using loads of different outlines of shapes, and then we're going to be colouring them in, so they're going to be overlapping one another and it's going to look really interesting, guys. So I want you to watch the step-by-step video now to be able to understand how to make it. For our main task, what we're going to be doing is creating this sheet full of different shapes, and we're going to add some colour as well. What you're going to need is a ruler, a pen, and use half a sheet of A4 paper. What I'm going to do is just start by making a triangle by here. So if I pull this down, if you haven't got a ruler, just use the edge of another piece of paper. I find that works really well. So I've got my triangle there, and then what I'll do is I'll add a circle on top. I'm going to see if I can draw around something. So I've got a candle by here, so I'm going to draw around that so it's nice and neat. So maybe a mug might be a good thing to draw around, or perhaps you have a cup or something. So we've got that one, and I think I'll do a rectangle as well. So I think I'll do a square now by here. I might do a star as well. I'm not the best at drawing stars, so I might try and do this freehand. Hopefully you'll take your time a little bit more than I am. And now I've filled my page with lots of different shapes. What I'm going to do is get some colouring pencils and I'm going to start colouring these in. But I'm going to try and stay within the line. So for example, we did a triangle first here and a circle on top. So I'm just going to do the purple in the triangle shape that I made first. And try and stay in the lines and be really neat when you're doing this as well. So that's my first one. And I'm going to do this for the whole thing. So you'd have a colour in here, colour in here, colour here, and do this for the whole sheet. And I don't mind what kind of coloured pens you use. You can use coloured pencils, or I've got some different kind of coloured pens by here which are like felt tips. And if you haven't got any colours, just try and use your tonal practice that we did in one of the lessons. So you'll just use a pencil and perhaps you'll press down firmly in this shape and then lightly in this one, so you'll get different tonal value happening in your work if you haven't got any coloured pencils. So I'm just going to keep doing that now as a time lapse.